So yeah, if it was like a family event or something that I was like, I don't want to go to that, then I wouldn't go to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cause yeah, I mean I know what you mean sometimes. Like parents and stuff like that can kind of press gang you and stuff like that, and it's like
Yeah.
like I'm an adult, like I got my own life. Like y'all didn't clear this with me beforehand. Um, and the implication that you like kind of sort of can't refuse that sort of stuff can be really frustrating.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was fine though. Yeah, it was
Okay.
fine.
Cool.
Always good food. I'm trying to figure out because my audio doesn't seem to be working, and that's really weird.
Uh-oh. Like your game audio?
Yeah, like at all.
Uh-oh.
Hang on. Wondering if it's because that would be why. Hang on. I have to exit the game again.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, it was because for some reason. Hey, Trapeze. Glad to see you back.
Wow.
Um,
The early bird is getting the worm. Hey, Trapeze.
yeah, the issue was even though I disabled it, I think because of the last update it undisabled it or enabled it or whatever. But because I have two monitors set up, and I disabled the volume from the other monitor so that it would never take over my stuff. But it
Okay.
took over my stuff, so I couldn't hear anything.
I'm sorry for your loss.
So it's like, what the hell? Why is that happening? I disabled this for a reason. All right, we should be good now.
Can you send me an invite code?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's not popping up for me for some reason. All right.
got you.
I am planning to get into some kind of spicy stuff today. Some kind of spicy topics. Stop me if I get too spicy. Um,
I actually have some
one,
things that I wanted to discuss today too.
Okay,
So
great.
it's good.
Let's start. Well, let me get in the game.
Tomorrow's the flower dance. I can't believe the boys are gonna miss the flower dance.
Oh no!
This is finally time to dance with our bays.
Oh shit! Well, hold on. Contiguous still doesn't have his, right?
You can still dance with them. You have to have four
Okay.
hearts with them to dance.
Okay. All right. I think Stardew's gonna do the thing where it's like connecting failed, and then it populates.
Ah,
in
yes, of course.
And the quick join or whatever, and then I can join.
We also
Usually how it goes.
we upgraded the big barn to a deluxe barn so we could get pigs and sheep, and then we all got the 10,000 gold backpack, so you can
Nice.
grab one
yeah,
too.
yeah. I did. I watched a little bit of the rest of it on VOD.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was doing a workshop to teach IB film like the entire weekend, like I mentioned. So yeah, I popped in for like half an hour, and then immediately went to that like 8-hour long workshop, and it was a 3-day intensive, so it was just 8 hours every day, conference calling. But I mean, it is legitimately like my favorite class to teach now.
That's good.
Yeah, just really fun content, and I've got folks who I work with being like, I really wish I could have taken this class in high school and stuff like that. So I just got folks like popping in, just coming in and out of the class. Just like, hey, can I sit in for a while? I just want to see what you're doing today.
That's always
so.
fun.
Yeah, it's a good time. It's a really good time. Anyway, so during it was slightly painful. All right, I'm back. By the way, I have the pail, so I can.
I did buy a pail,
eventually.
which is good,
Yeah. But then I think I have the rancher thing, right? So I
we
yield
can
more.
The ranger thing just makes them sell more.
Sell for more.
Yeah,
okay.
which any of us can utilize. So
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, it's
I
like
got a iridium large goat milk. Do we need that for a bundle or anything?
I did already get a large goat milk last time, so that's good.
Okay. Was it iridium tier?
No, but I didn't have to be. Luckily.
I'm screwing around.
We have yeah, we want to make sure did she actually upgrade the barn fully, or is she still working on it? Oh, she did. Look at this thing, auto feeder. Hello.
Oh, nice, dude. I was wondering why they were already all here.
We also got a bunch
so
more
cool.
cheese things, or I got like a couple more. I got some as gifts from rewards from bundles and shit. So I got those. We need to upgrade the freaking coop, man.
Do we?
Our coop is still the basic ass coop.
Okay.
But I want to get a shed though, because I want to take all of our like random artisan stuff from like the kegs and things like that, and like put them in a shed.
Yeah, that'd be good. Okay, sheds are cheap too, right?
Yeah, shed's easy. We just have to get wood since we used it all for the barn.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I can work on that. I should keep converting the milk to cheese, right?
Yes. Oh yeah, that was the thing that was hard while you were gone, is I had to get a bunch of wood, and none of us but you have the wood thing.
The wood thing?
Where you get more wood.
Oh, the feet. Gotcha.
The feet. Did you call it a feet?
Yeah, I called it a feet. Is that not what it's called?
I mean, not in this game, but I mean, we're tabletoppers, so everyone knows what a feet is.
Oh my god.
That's hilarious. All right, got the beans.
We're tabletoppers. Would you say that we're tops? That we
Yes.
top regularly?
Yeah, we top all the time. Yeah, you played. If
you know what?
do D&D on a podcast, and it's called Top and Talk.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
At this point, all we're growing is beans and strawberries. It's just the stuff that like responds every couple days. You don't have to regrow it.
Gotcha. I fear that at any moment, much like I think it was our first stream ever, our first Stardew stream, Shane is just gonna come barreling in, screaming at me about how I'm committing hate crimes. But you know what? I welcome it, because anytime I get to talk to Shane is a good day.
I do want to ask Trapeze, because these trees are just as evenly spaced out and not surrounded by anything, and one of them is growing and one of them is not. So I'm confused. Why? They're far away enough from each other. I know that for a fact because I've done trees before. And they're like the same amount of space away from the floors, and there's nothing else around it, and one is growing and one is not. I don't know why. It just keeps telling me that it's not growing, and I'm just like, why is it not growing?
Like if you cry every time.
What did I do to deserve this? Did you plant them at the same time? Yeah, I planted them at the same time. I keep getting the notification that this one's not growing because it hates me.
How much wood do we need? Oh, a shit ton, right? Like.
Yes, a lot of wood. I can't remember how much it is. It's not as much as like a deluxe barn or anything, but it's a lot of wood.
Gotcha.
All this freaking cheese. Hell yeah. Okay. It tells you it's not growing. Yeah, I don't get it though. Like they are identical situations. Like they are symmetrical. I don't understand why it's happening. Oh, is there something behind the tree? There could be something hidden behind the tree. I swear to God, if there is.
Finish your thought. If you swear to God if there is.
I'm gonna rip it out and destroy it.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, that's a good response.
There's nothing behind it. I did cut. There was like the hay grass that was over here. There was like a little patch of it. I cut that out today, just now. So I don't know if that was stopping it, but the grass seems like a weird thing to stop the tree from growing. To be honest.
Seems like they would they'd be able to grow simultaneously, but who knows? Stardew Valley logic, maybe not quite the same as.
Oh, Chappie says that was it. Okay, well I fixed it then, so hopefully tomorrow it'll start growing again.
I'm also the only one with the steel axe, but hopefully you guys were using that because it was in the chest.
Oh, rip.
You guys weren't.
We do need to fix up. Need to fix up these stone things. The stone fence.
Oh.
Because they deteriorate over time. Which in real life, the first year after you plant a fruit tree, you don't want anything at all, including grass near the base. Oh, I guess that's true. I just didn't realize it had to be so far away. It just seemed excessive.
Do we need hardwood for any of these building projects, or no?
Probably some. At some point.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
I don't know exactly what or when, but definitely going to. So it's nice to just keep harvesting it so that we have it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fix the fence.
All right, man. Well, let's get into it. What did you want to discuss today?
So I'm teaching this class. It's called visual media, but basically I get to kind of just come up with something that has to do with media, but also has to do with any form of writing at all. Just to teach that. It's kind of like open range for me. And I chose, our class voted, and they voted on like video game stuff. So like no one's actually coding or anything because I don't have computers for that, nor do I know how to code. But people are kind of like theoretically developing a game.
Okay.
And this past week we watched the movie Indie Game the Movie. And it came out in like 2011, 2012, something like that. And it tracks the developer of Fez and the developer of Super Meat Boy, the indie developers, and like their process for everything and all of that. And it was just fascinating to see like kind of like the joy that you get from being independent, but also just like
How
significantly more frustration as well. Because you're like a couple guys doing a game, and like there was like a thing where they were asking like, if you don't finish Fez in time, like what's gonna happen? And he like deadpan was like, I would kill myself.
No.
And I was like, Jesus, holy crap. So it was interesting, and then I started like brainstorming games and stuff that I think would be fun to have as like real games that don't exist yet. So it was entertaining, but it was informative because like Contiguous and Lobster and I have talked about trying to like get together to develop a game and stuff, and it's, you know, it would be a fucking process.
Yeah.
It would be a task. Especially for them, since all I would do is the actual writing bit, and they would do all of the hard stuff. But yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Gotcha. So you watched that documentary and you were still like, yeah, like I'm thinking of developing a game. Like it wasn't the kind of thing where like you watch and you were like, you know what, never mind.
No, I still think it'd be awesome to do, but I also know that like, as the person
Lobster and Contiguous would get into several fistfights.
Yeah, like as the person doing like the writing in the group, like it wouldn't. I'd probably have frustrated moments too, but like, you know, it's hard to visualize the process for like getting it published and talking to the right people and dealing with advertising and stuff when like
Yeah.
that's so far away if we were doing something. It's
Yeah.
hard to like imagine actually what that would be like because
Hard to sell something when you don't have something to sell.
yeah, like everyone has different experiences and like things are way different than they were in like 2010 when these games were being made. So like it's a whole other game now than it was back then. So it's just it's hard to picture the really bad stuff that's a part of it. But I still think it'd be fun to do. I think it'd be interesting to develop a game that I would feel pleased with. So,
Oh.
but I mean, those developers haven't done. Like the guy who did Fez, I don't think he's done anything else. The guys that did Super Meat Boy created another Super Meat Boy, and that's
Basically,
it.
yeah.
So, that's
Stardew, same thing.
yeah, it's pretty on track for
So we
indie
gotta do another
developers. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. Yeah, the assumption would be it's like, oh, you make your game, you make a name for yourself, and people are like, this guy's great. Let's have him direct, our game for Activision or whatever. And it rarely shakes out that way, it would appear.
Yeah.
I don't even know, does Activision even develop anything, or do they just publish things?
I think Activision just publishes
Yeah.
maybe. Well, it's Blizzard Activision, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I
Don't
think
they also own Bungie?
Bungie.
Someone bought Bungie.
I thought Bungie was Microsoft.
No. That's 343.
Oh yes,
That they created when Bungie stopped doing Halo and left
right.
Microsoft. But I think for Destiny, I think Activision... I don't know, maybe they don't own Bungie, they just do the publishing.
Got it.
Good job.
Yeah, the Blizzard stuff though. I mean, just
Alright, can you walk me through that?
a lot of so years ago there were some accusations about some stuff happening in Blizzard. And
This has to do with developers, like their work schedules, fatigue, crunch, that kind of stuff, right?
well, it's kind of that, but it's a lot more of like dealing with like the women in the office.
Okay.
And what they had to go through.
Harassment.
Yeah, but they like no one really did anything about it, and then there was a organization that like is in charge of like dealing with these companies when stuff comes up, and now that group is suing Blizzard, as well as another game company that I forget, for being super problematic and treating women unfairly. Like there's literally a woman employee that committed suicide on a company retreat because of how the men were acting at the retreat. So it got pretty bad, and it's just like big companies, they just getting away with shit left and right again, obviously. It's very unfortunate, but
Yeah, well, there's just no balance to it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, just like their material and legal resources just so far outstrip that of any individual employee,
Yep.
right, or private citizen. Right?
Yep.
Yeah. All right. We're keeping oak resin.
Yeah, I use it for what was it? I use it for kegs, some other stuff. It's used for.
Okay.
Where's the other thing?
No problem. We got 6 battery packs, by the way.
Yeah.
Where would you like those?
I guess the black chest is fine.
Black chest. Okay.
Yeah.
That might Oh,
The flower dance has begun in the forest.
Junimos. Okay.
Trapeze is talking about, it's like, oh god, you've triggered a deep and buried middle school game design memory. It was in computer lab where we also did kid pics, and Mavis Beacon teaches typing too, and for some reason they thought it's 2007, let's teach children to code by pretending they're making a video game where they turn a box into a soda can and it jumps around. It was deeply frustrating and boring, like why could we not have done Oregon Trail?
I'm guessing the design elements of Oregon Trail are a bit more complex.
I love Oregon Trail. I have like the like board game version of Oregon Trail.
Mm-hmm.
I have yet to be able to play it, but I really want to. It's such a good game, good team
Do you
game.
remember that Flash game? I think it was called Pandemic and Pandemic 2, where you are like trying to become the perfect like world-killing.
Oh yeah,
like,
I have
virus, bacteria. Or, yeah.
I have Pandemic.
Yeah. I feel like tonally that's not gonna work anymore. You know?
Yeah.
That game is probably gonna fall off the map if it hasn't already.
I have I've played Pandemic, the board game, and I have Pandemic on Steam as well.
Holy crap.
It's pretty fun though.
But yeah, I mean, I thought that was a heck of an insight when they turned it into a board game. But like now, do you just get like demonetized immediately when you load it up? Again, we know the thing. You got to be monetized to get demonetized, but
Yeah. That's my saving grace.
yeah.
No one can touch me, because I am not noticeable.
We're the last bastion of free speech, Unsung.
Yes. Until they start to pay me, then I'm gone.
Yep. Then the corporate overlords. They're at the wheel. Okay. I don't think anyone really has a consistent definition of what free speech is, by the way.
Oh, pity.
Because I do agree that with the take that like free speech is a lot more than just like what's in like what is protected speech is defined by constitutional law. Like people will say stuff like okay, let me ask you this. Do you to your mind, what's one of the more prominent, or maybe the most prominent, quote-unquote, free speech controversies that have cropped up in the last 10 years? Can you think of any?
There was all of the, wasn't there, like, issue with, all the memes and stuff? Like, people, like, the memes were at one point going to be like heavily copyrighted.
Really?
Yeah, that was like a thing. I think it had to do with this it was like a law that got passed or something in
Europe. Right?
in Europe. Yeah.
Yeah, in the EU.
Yeah.
So, well, that sounds more like copyright intellectual property
Yeah.
law.
Yeah, but it like, I mean, memes are like
Right,
are supposed to be free speech, fair game.
You wonder if Emily will dance with you, Gus? She is my wife! You get your grubby paws away from her!
Trapeze says Pandemic sold out everywhere at the beginning of COVID.
God damn it. Just like that movie Contagion just like blew up and everyone was watching it.
Art reflects life.
Yeah. Okay. anything else that comes to mind regarding free speech?
No.
Are you familiar with like an author and public intellectual named Jordan Peterson?
No.
Interesting. Okay, I thought you would have come across it at some point. All right, I'll try and do this the quick and dirty version. I'm pretty sure people in the audience will know. So Jordan Peterson is a Canadian clinical psychologist, former professor, and author of 3 books: Maps of Meaning, 12 Rules for Life, and Order from Chaos, 12 More Rules for Life. 12 Rules for Life was like an international bestseller, but it came off the heels of Peterson basically getting thrust into the public eye when he published an op-ed decrying a new law in, I think, just Ontario, regarding speech. So the thing was that Peterson was a professor at the University of Toronto, which is a public university, and so this law, as it pertained to, you know, employees of the Canadian government, right, did apply to him, and basically said that you could be liable for civil action for misgendering someone, and specifically like misgendering someone on purpose, right, like repeatedly, right? And he called this, like, I forget what it was exactly, like gender authoritarianism or something like that, and made a bunch of bad faith arguments of like, I don't know what my students are. 1 week they're this, and the next week they're that, and I need to keep up with it. And just like stuff that like just did not pass the smell test. Is like, dude, you've never met a trans person. It's glaringly obvious you never have, and you're just afraid of the idea, right?
Yeah.
And so yeah, but like the misunderstanding, I mean, first of all, people are like, it's a First Amendment issue. It's like, well, actually this is in Canada, so there's nothing to do with the First Amendment. And then second of all, it only had to do with his function as an employee of this university, right, which was owned by the government.
Right.
That's literally all it was, and then it got brought into like this much broader question of free speech or you know, political correctness, what's acceptable to say, and it's like sometimes people, I think because they don't want to get into the argument, will fall back on like a very legalist definition of free speech. Right, and they will cite the First Amendment. It's like, well, this just has to do, you know, with the government's ability to, you know, the Establishment Clause and, you know, freedom of the press, etc. And it's like, but, you know, private companies have their own, you know, motives, and they have the prerogative to silence speech if they want to, etc. And it's weird sometimes to hear people on the left side of the political spectrum talking like this, because this was exactly the problem, and you probably know about this but just didn't think of it in this context, but like the football player Colin Kaepernick. Yeah. I mean, you know, that could definitely be construed as a free speech issue. Again, it did not have anything to do with the government, right? But he was essentially blacklisted from playing in the NFL, right, for an act of protest, which was incredibly mild. In its execution, right? And so like that being a free speech issue in the public sphere, like that tracks, right? Mm-hmm. But it doesn't have to do with, you know, the government establishing laws regarding speech, right? So there must be a broader definition of what free speech actually is.
Right, because like him doing that, like, sure, free speech, but also the NFL gets to decide how they handle their players, not the government. So if they're gonna like blacklist you for doing that, they have the right to do that because there's no law against them doing that because you protested something. Because the laws don't protect you from like the laws. I'm not saying it's good, but the laws don't protect you from like, you know, being essentially owned, because NFL players, let's be real, they're owned by the NFL, and if the NFL says something, like, there's not a lot you can do, unless it's like an actual legal thing. But like, like you can, I mean, businesses can refuse service, big companies can blacklist their quote unquote employees. That's just how it works. It's unfortunate.
They are owned. They're drafted.
Yeah.
Like in a war. Like
Yeah.
they don't get to choose where they work.
Yeah, like that's how it goes. And like, so yeah, it's a free speech issue, but also like, what are you gonna do about it? There's nothing you can do unless the government makes a law that says companies can't do that.
Yeah,
which isn't going to ever happen.
That because that's getting into legally gray territory. And yeah, regarding this specifically, it's not, right?
No.
Okay, but then like so, and that would be the argument invoked with something like Kaepernick, right?
Yeah.
But then you see where this logic kind of cuts both ways, right? People will invoke this when it's something that they approve of, right? Something like Milo Yiannopoulos, right? Getting, deplatformed, right? Or something like that, right? They'll invoke this kind of private sector argument when it's something that they approve of, and then when it's something that they disapprove of, right? Then there seems to be the implication, the government ought to do something about this. Right?
Yeah.
The thing is, like, I am uncomfortable with like how much we are basically saying capital and those who own it dictate the terms of speech in a major way.
Yeah.
Right. But I will admit, like, I don't have solutions to this necessarily. There's no easy answers.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a whole process. And the thing with the misgendering, that's like government employees and even like civil service employees like being required to gender people correctly, at least after being notified what the gender preference is. I think it is completely fair and a necessity, even because if you're something that is largely dealing with the public a lot of the time, or a lot of people, because you're a government employee or a civil service employee, you have an even more of a responsibility to like treat people a certain way than like someone who owns a retail store. Like,
absolutely.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Oh my God. Like I cannot like it was the most whining.
Yeah.
And like it was all in the theoretical. By the way, I'm trying to talk to Mayor Lewis and I just can't. Do you have to do it?
Yeah, I have to do it.
Okay, there we go. It was just like all in the hypothetical.
Like if it's not happening to you, why are you whining about it? Like you haven't done anything yet. Just calm down.
But maybe it will one day, and I don't like that. Like, did you read Turf Wars, J.K. Rowling's op-ed?
No, but I've heard a lot of things
is?
Surrounding it.
You heard about it.
Yeah.
I think the best take on this, I think it was Jenny Nicholson, said is like, well, the most telling thing about this entire article is that she cannot state what she wants to happen or what she is afraid of happening. That
oh
is the
my God.
of it when it comes to this kind of thing, right? Everything is so purely in the hypothetical.
Yeah, it is. And it's so... Yeah, I can't deal when, like, people do that. Because I'm just like, okay, but we're talking about, like, the issues that, like, are happening now. So, like, the professor whining about having to, like, not misgender someone. It's like, oh, man, that could be a big problem for you. Well, you know what? Right now, it is a big problem for people that are being misgendered. And that's the important thing, not something that could happen to you, but something that is currently happening to people. Like, that's the problem. And you're over here complaining about a hypothetical without giving any, like, actual solutions or anything valuable to the conversation.
Well, and he can't. Like, he can't give any solutions.
No, he can't.
Because the honest solution is he would say, I wish these people didn't exist. That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
Rowling is saying the exact same thing. And and the reason why she can't say what she wants is because if she actually said what she wanted, and maybe she doesn't actually want this to happen, but like the only quote unquote solution is fucking Nazi shit. It's like gas chambers.
It's not having to deal with it at all.
Right?
Yeah.
Right, which means just killing these people en masse and then, creating an environment wherein no one is able to express their gender identity this way, and so everyone gets shoved back into the closet. right? And like she can't do that,
Yep.
right? Like she knows better, right? And maybe even is personally uncomfortable with that idea, but it's like there is no other solution, Joanne.
Yeah, it's that situation where it's like she can't do anything, and maybe she wouldn't go to any extremes, but at the end of the day, she's gonna sit in her chair with a glass of wine and just be like, I wish I didn't have to deal with this.
Exactly.
Like, that's...
Exactly. And it's like, deal with what? Yeah.
Like, it has no bearing on you as a person what other people want, like, to be called. That's not...
Yeah.
It's a word. Just use the other word. Like, they literally... Boy and girl. Wow. Both one syllable. How much effort is that to switch? They, also one syllable. How hard is it? Just... Your argument is invalid because everything is literally the same amount of easiness if you would just...
Yeah, well, and then of course there's the classic. There's the absolute classic. Won't somebody think of the children?
Oh my god. I mean, children are just gonna call their parents whatever you train them to call them.
Well,
like, that's...
Well,
like,
no. The idea that kids growing up in this world will have very, skewed or confused ideas about gender or identity or something like that, or like that. Again, no one can like really state any examples or tell me exactly what the problem is.
Yep.
But I'm told there's a problem.
It's just, yeah, there's no, like, there's literally bad and good parents of all genders and sexualities. That's just a fact.
Yeah.
And trying to, like, maintain that. I was like, if you really want to stop kids from having, like, terrible family households, then you should really force parents to go through a parenting course before becoming parents. Because there are people that, like, or, like, allow people to have, to do whatever they want with their bodies if they don't want to become pregnant. Like, it's because there are so many people that get pregnant and then... Oh.